Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome to Collector's Guide. Green is the color of money, and also of envy. Sounds wicked, doesn't it? Well, is the green dial Patek Philippe 5711 a hero or a villain? This is the Collector's Take. The story of the Patek Philippe Nautilus actually starts in 1972 when Gerald Genta, the it designer of his era, created the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Jump forward 4 years, Patek Philippe believes it needs its own integrated bracelet sporty watch, and the 3700 Nautilus, the original jumbo, is born. Fast forward to 2006, and the 5711 bows, at that point considered more of an undercard in a Patek lineup dominated by dress watches and complications, it didn't hit its stride until the late 2010s, when, apropos of nothing, it suddenly became a sensation. So much so that by 2021, Terry Stern, owner and president of Patek Philippe, decides to sunset the model as it is overshadowing the brand itself. Enter the 2021 5711-14, the olive green. Before we talk about the green dial, let's talk about the Nautilus. It is in many ways a new and improved Royal Oak. Now, follow me here. The original Royal Oak had that charismatic octagonal bezel, but then you go to the inner bezel, the crystal, the dial, it's all round. Whereas with the Nautilus, the outer bezel, the inner bezel, the crystal, and the dial all have the same profile. It's slim, beautifully integrated. Genta considered himself a jewelry designer first and foremost, and at least in terms of his career body of work, that's definitely true. He envisioned the Nautilus as a bracelet that could be worn by a man, albeit with a timepiece attached. The watch has an incredibly slim profile of only 8.6 millimeters and a wonderfully delicate bracelet, beautifully finished in every regard. One flows into the other seamlessly, almost like a rushing stream. The timepiece is comfortable, almost silken on the wrist, a product of incredibly thin bracelet links with a short cross section. The finish is outstanding. There's a reason the Nautilus costs more than an Aquanaut. The case is more complex. We have an interplay of polished and satinated parts, some of the polishing so narrow that it's only a hairline mirrored bevel, a razor along the case front. This is a watch that is beautiful from a distance and even more so up close. The standout feature of the Nautilus is integration. Everything looks like it was designed all of a piece, and indeed it was. Accuracy. Believe it or not, Patek talks about accuracy. -3 + 2 seconds. This is a beautiful movement, but also a very precise and rugged one. And this is a real sports watch. With a screw-down crown, 120-meter water resistance, and an anti-magnetic hairspring, this is a timepiece you can wear full-time, even in the shower, even in the pool. Consider finish to be a feature here, and not just on the movement. It's arguable that more time is spent finishing the bracelet, case, bezel, and clasp of a 5711 than is actually spent finishing the parts of the movement. With exterior finish of the highest order, the Nautilus puts the money where you can see it. Every Patek Philippe boxed set feels worthwhile. Handsome enough that you feel like you're getting your money's worth, but not so massive that you need to take out a lease on a new house to store it all. You have an outer box, you have an inner box with the image of a Patek Philippe Calatrava cross, beautiful varnished wood. Open it up, you can see there's a hang tag. There's also a nesting pouch and a little cushion for your watch. But the folio is where the action happens. Inside you'll find a generic operating manual with 8 different languages, not terribly helpful to someone who already knows how to operate a watch with a date, but if you want to think of it as a sort of horological Rosetta Stone, you can learn to speak watch in 7 languages besides your own. There's also a little booklet showcasing the Patek Philippe Museum, things you can see, the rates, the hours, directions, and tours you can take. Fun if you're ever in Geneva. Finally, and you don't want to lose this, the certificate of origin. This is the one thing that can never be reproduced, even for a fee at Patek Philippe. It's the birth certificate of your watch, and it's the one part of the boxed set you can never reassemble from eBay. By modern standards, the Nautilus 5711 fits like a dress watch. It's 40 millimeters by 8.6 thick, 44.5 from lug to lug. You can wear it on a small wrist, 14 centimeters circumference and up. It wears beautifully on my wrist, but you're looking at Sean's, which is larger. However, ladies, step right up. With its wonderfully silken fit, The flexibility of this bracelet, the lightness on the wrist, and the compact dimensions, this is probably the only men's Nautilus that's equally viable for her. Well, green dial fans with money, step forward. The green dial moment has almost just passed us by. Enjoy it before it goes the way of blue and salmon dials. Trophy Hunter. It's a Nautilus, a 1 year only steel 5711. It is already long gone. Get it if you can. It would be the capstone of any collection and not just Patek Philippe. Actual sports watch users. Guess what? Your Royal Oak is, at best, 50 meters water resistant. This is more than twice that. It's also anti-magnetic. These have a great track record of durability, and while the pin sleeve bracelet is controversial, it's also incredibly durable. Unlike screws, pin sleeves never back out. Wear it with confidence. Finally, buy-to-own types. This is the watch to buy, to own, to look at as a generational product. Save it for the next generation, but don't be in any hurry to pass it down the line. Consider the Audemars Royal Oak 16202, the Jumbo, now recently redesigned. It's expensive at $35,000, but if you get on the wait list, you theoretically could buy it for that price. And if you're impatient, it's going to be used for $90,000. Keep in mind that this green dial Nautilus is going to sell used for about $300 grand, and there are no more, so the Royal Oak looks attractive, albeit with inferior movement finish and far less water resistance. Consider Chopard, an upstart brand but a great one. The Antarctique is the watch that put them on the map. The movement is more interesting to look at and technologically fascinating than what you get in the Patek. The bracelet has a quick release and it comes with alternative straps. There's a micro adjustment in the Chopard bracelet, not so much in the Nautilus, and there's no brand baggage for what that's worth. You'll pay a lot less money as the Antarctique is $18,000 to $25,000 used, roughly $25,000 new in steel. You do have a titanium option for a higher charge to give you more variety, but it's not as thin as the Patek, and the bracelet finish is not as sophisticated. Finally, from the bargain bin, the 2023 IWC Ingenieur. In stainless steel at 40mm, it is a legitimate Gerald Genta design, so it can stand shoulder to shoulder with the Nautilus and the Royal Oak. But at $11,700, this green dial integrated bracelet Genta sports watch is far more accessible, and it has a 5-day power reserve. It's also anti-magnetic, but it is not even remotely artisanal, and for what it is, you might even argue that $11,700 is a bit overpriced. It bears mentioning that hype is not intrinsic to a watch, it's intrinsic to the internet. Strip away the mask of hype, and you have a watch that's built with integrity, beautifully detailed, and backed by a company that will never stab you in the back and make $20,000 more. It's more Green Lantern than Green Goblin. Heroic indeed. That's the collector's take.